Welcome to the Mayhem News Live Wrestling Broadcast with your host, the Man in Black, a.k.a. Team Iblievs. Each week we're here talking about the wrestling headlines and covering everything from Impact Wrestling to SmackDown. Join us each Tuesday via MayhemNews.com and the Mayhem News Live YouTube channel. You can subscribe to both and keep up with wrestling news and our show.
Played in Showgirls.
Welcome to the Mayhem News Live Wrestling Broadcast for 5/6/2014. I am the Man in Black, a.k.a. Team Iblievs. Got some interesting stuff today. Show's kind of a day late. Been doing some other stuff. Just to let you know, we are starting to get back into our gaming series. I've been doing some reviews, so if you will check those out and follow us if you're into gaming. If you're not, we've always got the wrestling stuff and everything, but bad news for TNA. Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian, hey, I actually said his name right, are leaving imminently. I'll say it in a minute. I know I'm not editing it out because that was funny. Anyway, Bill Burns, who represents both, pushed that both are available for more indie updates. In case of Daniels, it was noted that he would be available to appear on television shows, IP shows, and DVDs. The reason why Kazarian is not yet is because wrestlers still under a TNA contract who work the indies are banned from doing all three. So when his contract runs out, Kazarian will more than likely do the same. TNA, let's see, the Observer goes on to state that Christopher Daniels' contract expires this week, while Kazarian's expires next month. And see, also in their last match of TNA Bad Influence, Daniels and Kazarian lost to Bromans for an upcoming pre-taped one-night-only event, despite being off TV for weeks before that. Also, Chris Sabin's TNA contract expires in a couple of weeks. Sabin hasn't been used at all since the Velvet Sky storyline wrapped up, which is a shame considering he was the champion, so I don't understand what all that business is about. Also, for who they did sign some new contracts. Robbie E., Rockstar Spud, James Storm's Gunner have been signed to new deals, so that counts. At least they're signing some people. Nux and his family are coming to TNA, which includes 3 additional signings right there. So, hey, at least they're signing some people. David Benoit, son of wrestling legend Chris Benoit, has been training with David Hart Smith for some time, with an interest in pursuing a career in pro wrestling. The son of former WWE legend Davey Boy Smith, Hart recently announced that Benoit will be making his in-ring debut on July 18th at Hart Legacy Wrestling event in Calgary. Benoit will team with Chavo Guerrero, brother of another deceased wrestling legend, in a tag match. And I am tired to the point of getting frustrated with people putting this controversy label and attaching it to Chris Benoit. Okay, yes, I understand that he murdered his family, but it has been proven that Benoit was not in his right mind. It has also been proven that his mind state was not caused by roid rage, but by several medical and mental problems Benoit had. The man was not in a mind state compatible with maintaining rational thinking. So, yeah, he did something terrible. And the only reason this controversial label is being put out there is because Vince McMahon had his ass embarrassed on national TV. Okay? That is the only reason they're attaching this controversy. I mean, I understand the man killed his family, but he was not. Even some of his closest friends said that he was not in his right mind. There was something wrong. There was something there. And it was proven that, even though he had certain things in his body, I just don't understand why we can't just,
Let it go.
let it go. I know the man did something wrong, but it's not like he was in his right mind. And I'm tired of it. I mean, Vince, you need to get over yourself. That's simple. You need to get over yourself. You jumped the gun. You did a tribute show. You didn't know what was going on, and you're blaming Chris Benoit for your stupidity. Simple as that. Moving on. Jeff Jarrett has announced that Global Force Wrestling has reached a partnership agreement with AAA, which is the top wrestling promotion in Mexico for more than 20 years. I'm pretty sure this is going to piss off TNA because there's been a lot of people come from AAA to TNA. So Jeff Jarrett's doing what he does. You got to realize that it was his mindset that actually started TNA that made it as popular as it is. Which, of course, Dixie Carter and her family is pretty much screwing that over. The companies will exchange talents for events in both the United States and Mexico. AAA started in 1992 and quickly became the most exciting professional wrestling promotion in Mexico. And then some more TNA notes. Apparently, I do not understand their lack of intelligence at TNA. MVP will be turning heel and starting a new group consisting of himself, Bobby Lashley, and Kenny King. The swerve comes at the end of an episode where Eric Young is attacked by MVP and then beaten down by all three of these people. Now, here's my problem with this, and I agree with some people that's on the internet. It doesn't make any sense. You brought MVP in as this investor. You supposedly got Dixie Carter off. What's wrong? Is Daddy Carter upset because Dixie Carter is being portrayed as a heel and he wants to switch it? Y'all are running out of hands to plug holes. Your ship is sinking fast. You need to do something. You need to start listening to Jim Ross. Here's the idea. You need to actually get a hold of Jim Ross and put him, even if it is on a limited basis, on the payroll and fire your whole creative team. That's pretty much what you need to do. As you know, Lana, the leggy mouthpiece of the new talent gang, Alexander Rusev, has been the subject of criticism from some fans who did not like the promo dedicating Rusev's match at the last Extreme Rules pay-per-view to Russian President Vladimir Putin. I don't think that was really wise. But now you have to look at it in two ways. WWE didn't stop the Iron Sheik and Sergeant Slaughter from doing theirs during the Desert Storm, and they didn't stop the other Russian wrestlers from pushing during the time of the Cold War. So it doesn't surprise me that she didn't do this on her own. It was probably kind of came from the highest up. So the guy's supposed to be. What's funny, he's not even Russian. I don't know. Okay, so we're going to talk about Extreme Rules. I'm glad I didn't pay $50 for Extreme Rules, okay? Because it's terrible, and to show you just what some of these wrestlers. Okay, the Shield versus Evolution actually stole the show to me. I did watch it, but I watched it at a later date. Pretty much the pay-per-view. I guess Daniel Bryan versus. I guess that match was okay. Versus Kane. It probably had the most exciting action as far as the tables on fire and stuff. But to me, the Shield and Evolution, and I guess we'll go ahead and add Kane and Bryan in there. But the Wii LC match actually was pretty good. It shows the capability of El Torito and Hornswoggle. And if you hadn't, for those who are not medically inclined, if you've noticed, there's a difference between El Torito and Hornswoggle. From what I understand, and from what I've learned, and being a nurse for years, is El Torito is what they call a proportional little person. Okay, his body is proportioned just like a normal human. He doesn't have any. His body is proportional from his head to his toe. Now Hornswoggle is a little different. He has some some of his joints and some of his areas are unproportioned to the rest of his body. But, I mean, the dude can get around. He can do some stuff. Hornswoggle can go, and he's took off. He looks like he's took off a lot of weight. Took off and got into pretty good shape. So that's good for him. Now, here's a big question. Is Evolution passing the torch to the Shield? Not as a whole. I would think that they're passing the torch to the 3 stars that make up the Shield. There is a lot of talks about all 3 of them. There are future storylines that have been suggested just for the 3 members of the Shield. There's talk of Goldberg versus Roman Reigns, because nobody wants to see Goldberg versus Lesnar again. Because both of them were leaving, they didn't care, they came out, put on a match, collected a check, went home. Nobody wants to see that match again. I very seriously doubt that Goldberg would want to face The Undertaker. I figure they'll reserve that for... Here's not one. I'm pretty sure that, Goldberg wouldn't want to face The Undertaker. So, Roman Reigns with the spear, pretty much, they talked about Ryback, but, Ryback's pretty much, his mouth's pretty much got him in trouble. So, I don't see that happening anytime soon. So I think Roman Reigns versus Goldberg would be actually a damn good match. Dean Ambrose, going on to be having, to obtain the, WWE World Heavyweight title, because, which would, basically, let him move on without the U.S. title, so, and, Rollins has gotten to where his mic skills are extremely good, so, in a way, I think Evolution did pass the torch to the 3 members. I don't think they did it as a whole, because, let's see, okay, am I the only one that really wants to see Rowdy Roddy Piper appear on Nancy Grace, mainly where he can tear her apart in a promo? Oh, come on. Like I'm the only one. The Hot Rod. We're talking the Hot Rod, okay? Going on Nancy Grace and chewing her ass up and down and making her look like a fool. I know she doesn't need any help, but still. But on a serious note, and this last part of the show is going to be kind of hard for me to go over, but back in April, if anybody doesn't know who Connor the Crusher Michalek, I think that's the way you say his name. He was a WWE fan battling cancer, and recently has passed away due to his illness. He got to meet his favorite wrestler, Daniel Bryan, back in 2007, following a social media campaign to get the two to meet. It took WWE less than a day to confirm that meeting would take place. They showed a video, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But in this video, basically he got to go to WrestleMania 30. He got to meet Daniel Bryan. They let him come down the ramp. All the superstars were there. There was nobody in the auditorium except them. There was nobody in the venue. But the superstars, the referee, his dad, Daniel Bryan walked down, led him to the yes thing all the way down. And then Triple H actually hit him in the, pretty much put the, kind of did a big show, told him to hit him in the chin. And Connor was like, whispered, I can't hit you. Oh, hit me right here. Just tap me right here. And, kind of did the Big Show's finishing move, the knockout punch. And it was really cool. It brought tears to my eyes, and because I have a little boy that's close to that age. And to hear his dad talk that, WWE did do one thing for me, he kind of made me forget that he was sick. And if you don't watch this movie, it don't matter if you're a wrestling fan, it's a touching thing. And everybody talks about Stephanie McMahon not having any emotions and being weak and just flat. Well, Stephanie McMahon shows true emotion during this fan tribute. You can see the fact that she is truly a mother, that it does bother her that child is gone. I mean, all the stars were crying. So, so WWE does care about their fans. The tribute to a child fan who died of cancer is proof. They just don't or can't always listen to us. Daniel Bryan and many of the WWE superstars showed true heart by giving this boy and his dad one last great moment. And, I'm pretty sure that somewhere in the WWE archives, there's a record that says Connor the Crusher defeated Triple H at WrestleMania 30. And I just have to believe that. So I just want to say rest in peace, Connor the Crusher Michalek. And just know that every night, I'll hug my son and you'll be on my mind. So I'm going to end the show there because I just don't think it's right to talk about anything afterwards. I'm not even going to do the sponsors. You can look at the sponsors at the end of the show. And but I appreciate everybody watching. And this has been the Mayhem News Live Wrestling Broadcast, and we're signing off.
Welcome to the Mayhem News Live Wrestling Broadcast with your host, the Man in Black, a.k.a. Team Iblievs. Each week we're here talking about the wrestling headlines and covering everything from Impact Wrestling to SmackDown. Join us each Tuesday via MayhemNews.com and the Mayhem News Live YouTube channel. You can subscribe to both and keep up with wrestling news and our show.